Today we're going to begin our work on multi-step equations. So there's going to be one step that we have to do before we start adding and subtracting or multiplying and dividing. So let's start with the distributive property. As you can see in the problem, we have 3 on the outside of our parentheses, and it is being multiplied by m minus 10. So distribute, remember, means multiplication. So we're going to double share. We will do 3 times 1m, which is 3m. And then we will do 3 times negative 10. Remember, we always use the sign in front of the constant or the number, and that's going to be negative 30. And then we still have it equaling negative 2. Now we're getting into steps that we know. We'll either add or subtract depending on what the sign is, and then we'll divide. So in this case, since it's minus 30, I'm going to add 30 to both sides. My 30s cancel. I'll bring down 3m, and negative 2 plus 30 is 28. And then my last step will be to divide. And as you can see, 28 divided by 3 is going to give me a decimal, so you have a choice. You can leave it as an improper fraction, which is simplified, or 3 goes into 28 9 times, which gives me 27 with 1 left over to make 28. Or, of course, you can always write it as the decimal, which is equivalent to 9.3 repeating. Okay, so all of those mean the same thing. All right, let's go down and take a look now at another example. Even if you're using rational numbers like decimals that we have here in the next example, you're still going to start out doing the same thing. If you see a number on the outside of the parentheses, you're going to double share that with 2.9, and you're also going to double share that through multiplication with x. So 5 times x is 5x. You don't have to put your coefficient and your variable first, but you can if you'd like. And 5 times 2 and 9/10 is 14 and a half. And then it still equals 8 3/10. So now I'll do the inverse and subtract 14 and a half. Come over and subtract 14 and a half on the other side. Bring down 5x, and 8 3/10 minus 14 and a half is negative 6 and 2/10. And then I'll divide both sides by 5. So x equals negative 1 and 24 hundredths. And it's okay to leave this one in decimal form because our problem was originally in decimal form. And our last one here. So I'm going to multiply once again, double share distributive property, negative 4 times 3. And I'm also going to double share and do negative 4 times negative 2x. So negative 4 times negative 2x is positive 8x. And negative 4 times positive 3 is negative 12. Now I can see that I need to add 12 and add 12. Those cancel, and I have 8x equals 16 plus 12 gives you 28. And then you'll divide both sides by 8. And 28 divided by 8 is 3.5, which can also be written as your mixed number or as your simplified improper fraction. We're going to continue with multi-step equations, but this time you're going to see the commutative property. So the very first thing we've got to do is commute so we can move our like terms together. Okay, which means if you're commuting, you are moving your terms that match, that have the exact same variable and exponent. So I'm moving 5x to the middle and writing 12 last. Step 2 says to combine like terms. So in other words, I'm going to add my x's together. So 5x plus 3x gives me 8x. And then I still have plus 12 equals 36. So now I've got a two-step equation. So I can go ahead and subtract 12. And I have 8x. 36 minus 12 is 24. Divide by 8, and x equals 3. The main thing that you have to be careful with in these problems is the negatives. So let's take a look at one that has some subtraction and negatives. So I can see that my x's are on the same side of the equation, but they're split apart. So I need to put them together with a commutative property. So I'm going to do 9x first. And remember, I have to move the entire sign and term. So I'm moving minus 27x. Then I have to do the same thing for 5x here. So I'm moving minus 5, and then I have 4. All right, now I'm going to combine my x's together. So 9x minus 27x is going to give me negative 18x. Then I still have minus 5 equals 4. And now I'll follow my two-step rules. Add 5. So I have negative 18x equals 9. And then I will divide by negative 18 on both sides. And x is equal to negative 1/2 or negative 0 5/10. My last problem here is a little different because I'm seeing parentheses. So that's giving me a clue that I actually have to use both properties in order to be able to solve. So if I have 4 parentheses x plus 1, I have to distribute. 4 times x is 4x. And 4 times positive 1 is positive 4. And then I have minus 2x equals 12. Now I'm seeing that my x terms are both on the left-hand side, but they're separated. So I have to commute to put them together. So I'm going to move 4x minus 2x to be together in the front. I'll move 4 as the last term over here, and then I'll come and write equals 12. Combine my x's. 4x minus 2x is 2x plus 4 equals 12. And now it's a two-stepper, so I can go ahead and start solving. Subtract 4. minus 4 is 8, and then divide by 2. So x is equal to 4.